It's our pleasure to welcome former BYU and San Francisco 49er quarterback, former Cougar quarterback coach, and BYU offensive coordinator, our friend Brandon Doman, who's fresh off the golf course. First of all, we want to wish you a happy Halloween, but let's get right to the results. You're out playing your sons on a beautiful cold day. Who won?
Oh gosh, my son that's leaving on his mission tomorrow, his name is Jace, and he beats all of us every time. He's pretty good. Unfortunately, I wish it was me, but it's not.
And Jace is a football player too, right?
Yeah, he is signed to play at Southern Utah after his mission. So he's starting to prove to be a better golfer than he is a football player.
Hey, I always said, Brandon, and my wife used to say, Brenda, you know Brenda, she used to say, why don't we get our guys a little more practice up at golf? I don't know that I want them to, because she watched me get smacked around when we were dating and then married, and she's like, I'd be okay if they played golf. I don't know. What's your thought? Would you be okay if he just went and played college golf?
Yes. I mean, he jokes about it, but he puts enough time in on the golf course. He probably could figure it out. But yeah, I've got three boys, three of my four boys that have really taken a liking to golf, and it's been so fun to watch him take that sport on. It's been fun for us.
Hey, where's your boy going on his mission?
Tacoma, Washington. He
right.
goes into the Provo MTC tomorrow. He's been in the home MTC for the last 8 or 9 days. So it's been mom's getting pretty sentimental.
What's the rules? Like, if I happen to be in Tacoma, can I go take Jace out to lunch or something? Can I do that?
I think
of course you can.
Yeah.
Well, I get to Tacoma.
These are different times.
I get to Tacoma and Seattle all the time. I might have to figure out how to get a hold of him, take him for lunch one time when I'm up there.
Wednesday mornings in and around the MTC are wild because you've got happy families going in, and they come out with one less occupant in the car, and they're all sad coming out because of the great drop-off experience. Good luck with that tomorrow. That's awesome. Hey, what about Texas? What's your reaction to what you saw Saturday?
Well, Texas is really good. Obviously, obviously it's a football team that BYU is going to have a hard time beating no matter what.
Yeah, and they turned it over, and it wasn't no matter what. They just got handled with short fields and mistakes, and it didn't feel like a 35-6 game. But
punts for touchdowns. We were saying it felt like the defense made enough plays in that game to keep them in the game. But when you're playing bad teams in this league, feels like the margin for error is not very big, and you can't turn it over. Especially terminal turnovers are big plays for touchdowns. So your thought on that?
Yeah, I mean, turnovers in big time football from the NFL down, turnovers have become such a critical component to winning football games. Defenses are so good that you just can't afford to not have every single drive. So if you give up some turnovers, inadvertently, not fourth down stuff, but actual interceptions and fumbles and those things, you're just not going to get those drives back when you're playing against a team like Texas.
So how does it? You go and you have a loss, and you feel like you left a lot out there with the turnovers and all that. How do you regroup and get ready to go on the road all the way to the East Coast and play against a West Virginia team that's playing really good football right now, run-based football team, really 65% run, RPO kind of stuff, on the road at night on the East Coast? What's the recipe to get this team ready, and what do they have to do to win?
Well, they're going to have to get some. BYU's done such a good job this year of getting their own turnovers, and I think being pretty solid on defense. And our third down conversions have been not so really all year long, and so we've got to improve that. Make sure that we're converting in those third down situations. Unfortunately, against Texas and some of these good football teams, we've been in third and long so many times. It's near impossible to win. So finding a way to get into a manageable third down situation, then converting so that we can have some, manage some of that time of possession a little bit against West Virginia or anybody in this league. It's the only way to have a chance to win. I think our defense has proven to be good enough and opportunistic enough that if BYU can maintain some possession of the ball and convert when they need to, that we can stay in any game.
Before I ask you this next question, what's going on in this car? You're in the passenger seat. There's bodies behind you. Yeah. This is a car full of Domans.
There they are. Who's driving?
That's Jace.
Hey,
right there.
Jace.
Jace, be careful. You're going to MTC tomorrow.
I got to watch Jace play last year.
Take it nice and slow. You guys are live on our live stream around the world. So that's a car full of Domans right there.
Yeah, I was kind of giving some smirky looks because he's driving my truck and he didn't take the emergency brake off. And I was trying to point to him like, take the dang emergency brake off.
Yeah.
Come on, you should know that.
That's good advice for everybody. Don't drive with the emergency brake on. It's not good for the car. So,
all right, now that we've identified the occupants, I think you're an expert to answer this next question because you've been a quarterback on the field. You've worked with quarterbacks who are trying to get things going, and you've worked as an offensive coordinator on good days and bad. What is the key to getting a spark to the current BYU offense?
Oh, I know that there's allegiance to what they're doing with Slovis, and I know that there are many other factors at play here with regard to the lack of success that the offense is having. You're wanting to get to a bowl game. I think that'd be a great accomplishment at some point for this program. But I do think that they're going to have to be really careful in that this is a one and done senior quarterback that has not been in the program prior to now. And do they have a quarterback for next year? They don't want to get into this cycle of having unprepared quarterbacks. So frankly, for me, if they're lacking success going into this game and unproductive through halftime, I'd give another guy a chance to play.
And I know you're getting toward the end of the season now because the idea, they brought Retzlaff in, who was the number one junior college quarterback in the country last year, with the idea that we're redshirting him, right? But the redshirt rules are different than when you and I were playing. Like, these guys can play 4 games. And so now BYU's in their, well, if they get to a bowl, they have 5, right? But really in their last 4 games, the idea was also to redshirt the freshmen this year. So now all of a sudden down the stretch, where you probably couldn't before now, you can, if it's not replaced, you can definitely get playing time for these guys, which is important, right?
I think you've got to get a guy some time, and if he's the quarterback for the next 2 years, get him in. I don't know that BYU's, like I said, they want to get to a bowl game and they're playing for a bowl game, and I think that's important for the overall mojo of the football program. But not at the expense, frankly, for me, at getting a quarterback ready in preparation for the upcoming season. So if Slovis plays well and they're in the game and having a shot at winning this football game and he's playing well, I wouldn't take him out. But struggling coming into halftime, that's how I would look at it. I would give this another guy a shot to play and gain some experience.
Hey, I was going to ask you about a unique situation for almost any university in the country. How about the fact that Taysom Hill, Zach Wilson, and Jaren Hall, BYU's last 3 quarterbacks, all completing passes on Saturday or last Sunday in the NFL as quarterbacks. Now, we just found out that Jaren's going to start this week. We know that Zach starts. Taysom doesn't necessarily start a quarterback, but he starts. BYU's last 3 quarterbacks are all NFL dudes. What about that? Is that something or what? Well,
and you look at Taysom's last year, you look at Jaren's last year, you look at Zach's last year, and there were a ton of football games that those guys won. And a lot of it has to do with recruiting and keeping a pipeline and a cupboard full of quarterbacks coming in and bona fide studs. And it's hard for BYU or any program to win, but especially tough for BYU in the nature of just the kind of athlete that BYU has there. We've got to have Jaren Halls and Zach Wilsons and Taysom Hills and those types of guys in the program regularly for this football program to be successful in the Big 12. And, those guys were pretty dang good.
Former BYU quarterback Brandon Doman on the Wise Guys, live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and wiseguys.com. His 2001 Cougars won their first 12 games of the season, finished 12-2. Luke Staley was in there. Reno Mahe, fantastic.
What a
group of athletes. Okay, we got 2 more questions for you. Before we ask you the keys to a win on Saturday night, let's roll out the Dominator, which is his nickname, top 5 Halloween candies of all time.
Yes.
And your kids are right there, so they'll verify. But we've got 5 leading up to 1. And I gave you a heads up, so I know you've been thinking about this. What's the number 5 on the Brandon Doman's top Halloween candies of all time?
They're all candy bars.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was a little kid, there used to be a candy bar called the whatchamacallit, and it was really, really good.
Whatchamacallit?
And then
Whatchamacallit?
That's number 5.
That's number 5. All right.
yeah, and it was always an extra treat. But then I like Reese's Buttercup.
Okay.
It's got to be the 2 Buttercup package.
Oh, okay.
Not the one, not the little,
Not the small one.
Full
No.
size.
The
Full
little
size
ones.
with 2 full. Yeah.
Full size. And then Butterfingers.
Butterfinger at number 3.
Butterfingers
All
3.
right.
Okay.
That's an underappreciated snack.
Yeah.
Butterfingers.
Yeah, Butterfingers is really good. And then I would say Twix.
Twix.
Oh, Twix for number 2.
Yeah. All right, number 1 all time.
And I don't know I've never had a candy bar that I like better than Snickers.
Oh, see, like to me,
It's
I
very
got
satisfying.
like my Milky Way is right there.
Milky
up
Way
at the
didn't make
top,
his
and
top
he didn't
5.
make it. It didn't even make it. Or 3 Musketeers. Like I don't know how those 2 don't make it.
You know what
No, then I don't think they make my top 10.
Gosh, man! And you and I are so alike. I don't know how we are so disparate on candy bars. What?
You know what? I don't appreciate the 3 Musketeers bar either. I don't appreciate that.
You don't like the fluffy?
No.
But come on, a Milky Way. It's caramel
I do
and
like
chocolate.
Milky Way. I do like the Milky Way.
Oh,
How's the Milky Way not in your top 5?
Not in my top 5.
Let me tell you the guy. Let me tell you the guy that's a genius. Whoever invented Tootsie Rolls.
Yeah.
Hey, let's just take a hunk of chocolate and just wrap it up. Just sell it. That's got to be the best margins ever because that's cheap. Let's just.
That's
and
a good
maybe
list.
the greatest candy ever, in its simplicity alone.
That's a good list. We'll go with your
No
top
doubt.
5 right there. All right, the keys to beating West Virginia on Saturday nights. We're going to revisit them next week. So
Yep.
what do you got?
I think it starts with turnover margin. I do think they have to win the turnover margin. They need to be over 40, probably at least 40% conversion on 3rd down. I don't think West Virginia is anything, super special. So if they can at least get over 40% on conversions on 3rd down and win the turnover margin, those 2 things alone, I think will give BYU the win. And the third thing would be they've got to convert more than half of their red zone conversions have got to be touchdowns. So if they get 4 shots down there, they got to get at least 2 touchdowns. The others can be field goals, but I would say in that order: turnover conversion. They've got to have 40 to 45% 3rd down conversion, and then at least half of their red zone trips have got to
Be
convert
touchdowns.
7-point touchdowns.
It's interesting because they've turnover margin when they've been good, they win. Right? And 3rd down's been a struggle, but in red zone offense, they've been in top 10 all year. And then touchdown percentage, they've been in the top 10 all year. When they get down there, they do a good job. The problem has been getting down there without, in the games they lose, getting down there without turning it over. That's been a big issue. So I love it.
You look at that Texas game, they had an interception that took them down in there, and then you had the penalty that brought them back, and they didn't get in the red zone. I think they would have scored, and that would have been quite a different game for them. And then there was, I can't remember the other one, but they had 2 chances where they could have been in scoring position. And you're right, BYU's proven to be able to score when they get down there, and you can't afford to take away red zone opportunities.
Hey, by the way, I just was going to tell you, Dr. Ketch said that it's always nice to see quarterback Doman. I remember when he was in school, I admit it, I had a crush on him as a BYU student. So there you go. Dr. Ketch.
awesome.
Dr. Ketch. Hey, what are you guys handing out tonight, by the way? One of these 5 candy bars, or what are you giving out?
We have all 5 of them.
All
I'm sorry,
5.
we just have the top 4: the Snickers, the Twix, the Reese's, and the
And the Butterfingers?
Butterfingers.
Hey, we're all going to Doman.
Right,
They're
because the
all-
whatchamacallit,
they're all
they're almost, you can't find them anymore.
Can't find them anymore.
So,
Enjoy your last night
Yeah.
with your missionary.
hey, Jace, good luck, brother.
right there.
You'll be great.
Thank you.
I may like when you hear, hey, Brother Fowler calling, need to take you to lunch. Don't turn me down, man.
Hey, and know this, it might feel like a long time, 2 years, but when you get back, you'll see that we're still interviewing your dad,
Yep.
and time goes by that fast.
Yep.
All right, guys.
Brandon,
Thank
thank
you
Thanks
so
so
much.
much, Brandon.
Happy Halloween.
Take care, guys.
All right, there's the Domans right off their big golf showdown, which Brandon was defeated by Jace, who's heading out on his church mission tomorrow morning.
Very good. Proud of Jace.
And that's great. I loved his keys. Turnover margin, 40% on third down, which would be a significant improvement. And
at least 50% touchdowns.
In the red zone.
They need to score in the red zone, probably at 90% clip, right? And then 50% of those touchdowns. So.
You know, I like Brandon Doman on our show because he knows his stuff.
Yeah, he does.
Now, everyone seems to that comes on, but, man, he's been there. He's coached it. He's played it.
He was offensive coordinator. He's a quarterback's coach.
And
played quarterback and played it in the National Football League. Played it at BYU.
Yeah,
Played it and really, really high level. And he played on a team with tremendous talent with Luke Staley and Reno Mahe, a bunch of NFL caliber guys. Yeah, Brandon knows his stuff. It's fun to talk to him.